I actually don't worry about that much, Ryan, because I think what we've seen play out over these past 10 months is a real seriousness and this going quite slow. People do think on the Hill that this is what is needed to sort of temper the expectations of the American electorate. Perhaps if they went too fast, it would take us towards that concern. Is this a complete political witch hunt? But what we see here is that there was a peaceful transfer of power. Of course, President Trump acted a bit immaturely that day and didn't participate. But again, that was his choosing, and nothing says he had to be there on the stage for Joe Biden to be sworn in. But I feel encouraged by the many acts that have taken place in the months following the insurrection. And I think it's important that we continue to call it an insurrection. Those are fellow Americans of ours that were hitting the Capitol. I mean, I was there that day. I was at the closest private building you could be at. I couldn't leave for 9 hours. I can tell you, it felt pretty nuts to see that happening because I was just waiting for the military to come. That's just my instinct. But when that didn't happen, I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's this mean for our country moving forward? And I think to answer your question there, we should not be so worried because we've seen the Republic persevere. We've seen it remain intact. And the work of this congressional committee, though Republicans wanted to paint it out to be completely partisan, has been going quite well. My worry at this moment, though, is why issue more subpoenas if you're not going to enforce them?
Yeah.
With Bannon, we've seen what we've seen. Steve Bannon has been able to remain seemingly untouchable. He's a guy who should be held in contempt. I frankly think he should be behind bars. So my concern is how do we move forward? How do we trust the committee to do the work the American people want while sort of preserving that whole, we're keeping this process moving slowly and nicely so as to not really ramp up the emotions that could lead us towards feeling that these are political witch hunts. Because the closer we get to that stuff, Ryan, the more that Trump will have his ammo to say, this is exactly how government functions and this is why you should question it even more. At this moment in time, I do think we're somewhere in between. There's no right or wrong answer on this at this very moment, because what we saw is people take to the streets, try to peacefully demonstrate. And of course, there were a number of bad actors that led it to a place that was violent and frankly looked like a coup, right? So this is something that many Americans are going to have to draw their own conclusions. But our project at Renewed Democracy Initiative is pulling together 50-some dissidents from over 30 countries. And we've asked these people to talk about what they're seeing and their journeys. And I encourage our viewers right now to follow this project. We just launched yesterday. We've got a fantastic readout in CNN. We've got an opinion editorial on, and we'll have a number of those. We have great videos. Visit our website, hear from these dissidents what happens when you really call into question everything. So there's this fine line, Robbie. Cancel culture, is it too much? And then also, what do we have here? What freedoms do we enjoy that other people around the world don't have? It is a project that highlights how much the world is gray and not black and white. But I love that these dissidents are sounding the alarm and really encouraging us Americans also to look inward and say, how can we better create and strive towards a more perfect union every day and value what we have as Americans that's enshrined in our Constitution for each and every one of us.